Okay, so let us begin with environmental impact assessment. Okay, now we are going for the environment section of the GS3. Okay, the UNEP defines environment impact assessment as process of evaluating the likely environmental impact of proposed project or development, taking into account interrelated socio-economic, cultural, human health impact, both beneficial and adverse. The first such river valley project was in 1978. Okay, what is the history of Environment Impact Assessment Act? It began with Environment Protection Act 1986, then Environment Impact Assessment 1994, then came 2006, and then came 2020. What are the stakeholders of IEA process? The project proposer, environmental consultants who prepare IEA, Population Control Board, the state and the national level, public, the Impact Assessment Agency, the Regional Center of Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. What is the 2006 amendment? Decentralization of project clearance in two categories. Now, one is the category A, that is the national level appraisal. Projects are appraised by Impact Assessment Agency and Expert Appraisal Committee. Okay. Then we have the category B, that is the state level appraisal. The state level Environment Impact Assessment Authority and the state level Expert Appraisal Committee will provide clearance to the category B projects. Okay. Introduction of 4 stages. We have screening, scoping, public hearing and appraisal. Okay. So for category 1 project, it is mandatory, and for category B projects, it is necessary to undergo screening process and are further classified in B1, that is mandatorily requiring IEA, and B2 which does not require environment impact assessment. Projects with mandatory clearance such as projects of mining, thermal power plant, river valley infrastructure such as road, highway, port, harbors, airports, industries including very small plastic or foundry units are mandated to get environment clearances. Okay. Talking about the process, the first begins with screening, then comes the scoping, then the collection of baseline data, impact prediction, positive and negative, irreversible or irreversible, temporary or permanent impacts, then mitigation measures and environment impact assessment report. Then goes for the public hearing, decision making, impact assessment authority along with experts consult the project in charge along with the consultant to take the final decision, monitoring and implementation of environmental management plan, assessment of alternative delineation of mitigation measures and environmental impact assessment report, risk assessment, inventory analysis and hazard probability index. So this is the entire process. Benefit, we can think from the stakeholder approach. Who are the stakeholders? The people, other people, okay, company, government, environment. Okay, now we can also think from environment, social, economical. Okay, so what are the benefits? Eliminate or minimize the adverse impact of developmental projects. Help decision makers to analyze the effect of developmental activities on the environment well before the development project is implemented. Encourage the adaptation of mitigation strategies. Developmental plan is environmentally sound and within the limits of capacity of assimilation and regeneration of the ecosystem. Environmentally safe and sustainable development, yes. Impact on people in the neighborhood. Assessment of various factors of environment such as the air, water, land and biological. Okay. What are the shortcomings of environmental impact assessment? First is the non-applicability on non-strategic sectors. Composition of expert committees and standards lacking the expertise. Example, for the preparation of environment impact assessment report of the proposed oil exploration in the coast of Orissa by Reliance Group has been given to the life science department of Behrampur University, which has no expertise on the study of turtle or its cycle. Okay. Public hearing often is neglected. The time period for public hearing is at 30 days. Okay, so often they do not have it in regional language. Yes, even during the COVID-19 crisis, gave approval for the limestone mining in Gir National Park through video conferencing. Okay, diamond mining in Panna Forest through video conferencing again. Number of projects with significant environmental and social impact has been excluded from mandatory public hearing. Documents which the publics are entitled to shelter available on time. Okay, data collectors do not pay respect to the indigenous knowledge of local people. Quality of environment impact assessment, it is often incomplete and provided with false data based on a single season data, bulky and technical, which makes it very difficult to decipher. Lack of credibility, there is a conflict of interest. Yes, no accreditation of environment impact assessment consultants cannot be held liable for discrepancies. Yes, monitoring compliance and institutional arrangements for strategic industries such as nuclear energy projects. The environment management protection are kept confidential for the political and administrative reasons. Emergency preparedness plans are not discussed in sufficient details, and information not disseminated to the communities. Okay, so these are the issues. What are the recommendations to improve the process? First is the Independent Environment Impact Assessment Authority. Sector-wide environment impact assessment needed. Creation of centralized baseline data bank. Dissemination of all information. Accreditation of Environment Impact Assessment Agency. Use of local language. Composition of expert committees. Public hearing. Okay. Quality shift from utilization and exploitation to conservation of the natural resources. Maintain a list of credible, independent and competent agencies that can carry out environment impact assessment. Grant of clearance, prior informed consent of local communities. Yes. Monitoring compliance and institutional arrangement. Automatic withdrawal of clearance. Set up more regional offices with advisory expert committees. Redressal. Include more judicial from the field of environment and NGT. Yes. Capacity building, NGOs, civil society groups and local communities among others. Okay. Draft, it is in the draft stage, so we do not remember them. Issues associated. Why discrimination power to the government? Okay, this is for the same, again, draft. So draft we did not study anymore. Okay. Okay. Talking about geography. We can think from the dimensions of natural effect, natural consequences, natural cause and anthropogenic cause. Okay. 34% of Indian coastline are under erosion in the past 28 years. Okay, almost 34% is very high, I think. Because management, structural and non-structural, yes. 20%, 27% of post in NDRF is vacant. 90% survivor experiences emotional reactions. Okay. World Bank, according to World Bank, $900 billion loss worldwide each year. Okay. We have NDMA guidelines for disability, including inclusive disaster risk reduction. NDMA guideline for psychological care. So you can use such terms in the way forward. Okay, section. Okay, how do you want to change these things? Okay, how do you want to manage the disaster? Okay, UN Office for Disaster Risk Reduction report says that India has been ranked as one of the most disaster-prone country for displacement of residents. Okay. According to NCRWC, management of disaster and emergency should be in concurrent list. Currently, it is in the residuary list. Okay, and that is why we have National Disaster Management Act 2005 made by Parliament, because it is a residuary power of a Parliament. Okay, Sendai framework, yes. Pre and post disaster management, yes. Okay, now let us look at each and every disaster. The first is the earthquake. As the shaking of surface of the earth resulting from the sudden release of energy in the Earth's lithosphere that creates seismic waves. 59% of India is vulnerable to seismicity. Okay, 6.4 Richter scale at Assam, Kutch, 7.7, 402 Richter scale. Yes, Seismic Code, National Information Center for Earthquake Engineering, NDMA guidelines 2007. So you can use these terms. What are the reasons? What are the consequences? We know those things. Okay, it is very generic. You can understand. You can write it. Landslide. The term landslide refers to several forms of mass wasting that includes wide range of ground movement such as rockfall, deep-seated slope failures, mud flow, and debris flow. About 12.6% of the landslides in India. Okay, 12.6% of the area in India is prone to landslides. Major causes of landslide, we have geological. Okay, weak fractured rocks or earth. We have morphological. Slopes that lose their vegetation to fire or drought are more vulnerable. We have human activities such as deforestation, excavation, among others. Okay, so you can think from the other different perspectives. NDMA, National Landscape Risk Management Strategy. Okay, so you can quote this thing. Talking about cyclone, in meteorology, a cyclone is a large-scale air mass that rotates around a strong center or low atmospheric pressure. We can draw the diagram. Definitely improve of early warning system, cyclone risk mitigation investment, technical assistance for hazard risk management and capacity building, project management and institutional support. So these are the generic terms that can be used for any disaster. Okay. 5700 kilometers to 7500 kilometers vulnerable to cyclone. Okay, 10% of world cyclone falls in Bay of Bengal. I think it is in the Indian Ocean. Okay, Bay of Bengal versus Arabian Sea, the ratio is at 4:1. Okay, NDMA guideline for the management of cyclone. Okay, National Cyclone Risk Mitigation Project with World Bank. Okay, IMD Impact Wave Cyclone Warning System, Area Cyclone Warning Center at Mumbai, Chennai, Bhubaneswar, Ahmedabad, color codes of warning. Okay, so these are the initiatives taken by the government. Okay, cloudburst is any event where 100 millimeters of rainfall have fallen in a span of an hour over a region that is 20 to 30 square kilometer in area. Okay, any events where 100 millimeters of rainfall have fallen in a span of an hour over a region that is 20 to 30 square kilometers in area. Okay, Uttarakhand's Chamoli district, you can quote it. Okay, orographic rainfall out 100 to 1000 to 2500. Okay, cumulonimbus clouds, flash floods, landslides, among others. Okay, floods. It is caused by inadequate capacity within the banks of rivers to contain the high flow brought down by the upper catchment. Okay, we have enough instances: Uttarakhand 2013, Kerala 2019, Patna 2019, Assam 2020, among others. Okay, natural bad drainage in the region of Tarai, basin topography, Punjab, Haryana, narrow river valley, Assam, monsoon, high siltation, Kosi, landslides in river. So these are the natural reasons. Okay, they are very anthropogenic reasons, that encroachment, low-lying areas, urbanization, okay, low drainage areas, and you can write those things. Riverine flood, but leave this. 12% of India is vulnerable to floods. Okay, urban flooding. IMD says that what are the government initiatives? I-Flow Mumbai, Sea-Flow Chennai. Okay, NDMA National Water Policy 2012, Guidelines for Urban Flood Management, National Hydrometeorological Network, Doppler Weather Radar in urban areas. Okay, so these are the initiatives. Ganga Flood Control Commission. Okay, and floodplains zoning. Niti Aayog's strategy for flood management, extension of flood management and border area program, passing dam safety bill, building amphibian houses. Okay, so these are the initiatives of Niti Aayog. Tsunami. A tsunami or a tidal wave, also known as seismic sea wave, is a series of waves in a water body caused by displacement of a large volume of water, generally in an ocean or a large lake. Okay, tsunami or a tidal wave, also known as seismic sea wave, is a series of waves in a water body caused by a displacement of large volume of water, generally in an ocean or a large lake. Okay, earthquake, volcanic eruptions, and other underwater explosions are nothing but tsunamis, cause of tsunamis. Okay, 6% population lives. 6% of the population is vulnerable to tsunamis. Live 10 meters or less above sea level. Okay, so they are very vulnerable. Almost 6% of the India's population. Okay, a way forward. Often in the disaster management questions, they've been asking us the way forward. So you can focus on 6R, that is reduce, reuse, recycle, redesign, remanufacture, refurbish, or 3F, that is rescue, relief, rehabilitation. Okay, the way forward over the course of action: vulnerability assessment, hazard zonation, drafting and developing, early warning system, safety culture, psychological care, harness technology. Okay, mitigation and adoption, low emission and climate resilient development, capacity building, awareness programs, social media outreach. Okay, the government efforts such as Sendai framework, for priority of action, understanding the disaster risk, governance, investing in disaster risk reduction, and build back better. Okay, so you can write such things. NDMA guidelines. You can also quote NDMA guidelines, and then you give you your own guidelines and within that guidelines. Okay, because see, NDMA is nothing but people who are working with the common sense. So if you have enough common sense, your guide, your suggestions would be there in the NDMA guidelines. Okay. NDRF, yes, we have National Disaster Response Force. We have disaster management plans at the district level, state level, and the national level. Ecological fiscal transfer. Okay, 15th Finance Commission has added 10% for the forest cover. Ecological payment service. Okay. COVID-19, no need to read them anymore. Drought. Drought is a natural disaster of below average precipitation in a given region, resulting in a prolonged shortage of water supply, whether atmospheric, surface water, or groundwater. Okay. 25% of area is prone to such things. We have about 33% of the Indian coast vulnerable to soil erosion, coastal erosion. Okay, about 12% landslides, 12.6% I think for landslide, 12% for floods. Okay. Drought rules 2016, which has said that what will be the guidelines to be followed during the case of drought. Forest fire, about 21% of the Indian forest cover is prone to fires. We have the Renuka Chaudhary Committee for Indian forest fire. Okay. Heat wave. Again, it's an important topic. Because of the heat wave, almost 2.8% of the GDP is lost. Very big number. This is not even what we invest in healthcare sector or the education sector. Okay. Silent disaster, yes, period of abnormally high temperature, more than normal maximum temperature that occurs during the summer season in the northwestern and southern central part of India. According to IMD, temperature should reach at least 40 degrees Celsius in plains and 30 degrees in hills, and should reflect increase of at least 5 to 6% during the normal temperature. Okay. UHIs occur. Urban heat islands occur when cities replace natural land cover with dense concentration of pavement, buildings, and other surface that absorbs retains heat. Okay. What are the causes? Low tree to people ratio. What are the consequences? Losses to the work hours. Okay, in 2020 was at 300 billion hours. Okay, mortality and morbidity of senior citizens, especially crop damage, threat to food security, labor productivity loss, wildfire and droughts. Okay, these are the efforts. Way forward, adopting a more sensitive approach towards daily laborer, farmer, construction worker, cooling shelters, water kiosk, passive cooling to reduce urban heat island, replacing dark roof, central cooling system, among others. Okay. NDMA guidelines for the prevention of management of the heat wave. Okay. The glacial melting, change in critical geographical features. Gangotri Glacier is melting at the rate of 0.15 square kilometer per year. Okay, so yes, we can see that climate change is having a greater impact. Okay, glacial lake outburst. We had in Uttarakhand, Gangotri glacial outburst led to the flooding of Rishi Ganga, Chamoli districts, and Nanda Devi National Park. Okay. What are the issues? It is inside the glacier, so it is very difficult to map through the satellite, and mainly there are anthropogenic regions. Okay. NDMA guidelines for the management of glacial outburst. ISRO, IMD has been working on it. Identify early warning system, satellite mapping, extraction of glacial lakes, hazard mapping, local training, ham radio. Okay. Social media monitoring, psychological counseling. So these are again generic such keywords. Okay, locus attack, leave this. Okay, now let's come to again environmental degradation. mainly it is all about climate change, so very big topic, so you have to focus on it. And then we have biodiversity conservation, sustainable development. Okay, chalo, so environmental degradation. Okay. Living Planet Report 2020. Top 5%, five challenges faced by the Earth biodiversity, land, and sea use change. Okay. Yes, the top 5 challenges faced by Earth. Number 1 is biodiversity, land use change, species overexploitation, invasive species, pollution, and then the fifth biggest challenge is climate change. Okay. Lima program on gender that focuses on climate equity for gender. Okay, I'll do this. Climate change, according to Living Planet Report (IPCC), climate change is a change in the statistical distribution of weather pattern when the change lasts for an extended period of time. According to Climate Change Performance Index, India is ranked at 8th. Okay. Global Biodiversity Outlook Report (UNCBD). It is by UNCBD. The world failed to achieve even a single target of 20 target under Aichi biodiversity targets. Okay. DST has written Climate Vulnerability and Assessment Report in 2021. Okay. According to this report, the Assam, Jharkhand, Bihar, about 60% of districts are very highly vulnerable to the climate change. Okay. What are the causes? We have natural cause because of the volcanic eruption, forest fire, El Nino, okay, cloud formation, okay, anthropogenic air pollution, 73% industrial processes, okay, cause air pollution. 21 of the 30 most polluted cities are in India, according to World Air Quality Report. Okay, animal rearing causes 8% increase in the methane. Okay, deforestation, Living Planet Report has said that it is a big challenges. Fertilizers such as nitrogen causes greenhouse gas. Overfishing. Okay, agriculture, forestry and other land use, that about a quarter, almost 23% of the greenhouse gas is produced by agriculture. Paddy especially because of the flooding of entire field with water. India's CO2 per capita emission is at 1.73 metric ton, which is again below the global average, but still it is high. 64% of the electricity produced in India is through coal. Automobile sector contributes about 1/3 of the emission. 1/3, my friends, 33%, which is very high. So if we transform to electric vehicle, and that electricity is again produced from, and if that electricity is produced from this renewable sources, then we can actually reduce 33% of the global emission. Very good. Global Carbon Project report that India carbon emission is rising 2 times faster than the global. Yes, coal accounts for 46% of the CO2 emission. What are the issues? The accountability and enforcement mechanism. Tragedy of commons. Yes, consumerism, lack of awareness, corporate greed, and negative feedback, tech transfer, developing status, among others. Okay. What are the consequences? Ministry of Earth Science have said that assessment of climate change over Indian region. Okay. Assessment of climate change over Indian region report. You can use this report as a consequences. Okay. Okay. Changing rain and snow pattern. Yes. Stronger storms. Yes. Damaged corals. Rising sea level. Higher temperature and more heat waves. Changes in animal migration and life cycle, more droughts and wildfires, less snow and ice, thawing permafrost, change in plant life cycle, warmer oceans, among others. Okay. What impact it does have on national cycles? The rise in temperature, heat wave over India is 4 to 5 times higher. Okay. Canada almost had a 54 degrees Celsius temperature. Imagine in Canada, 54 degrees Celsius is just very high. Changes in rainfall pattern declined by 6%. Localized heavy and dry spell. Okay, drought projected to increase by 1.3%. Okay, floods, glacial melting, excessive rainfall, among others. Okay, yes, Krishna, for an example, we had floodings in the river Krishna. Ocean, marine heat wave, ocean deoxygenation level rise to 3.3 mm per year. Temperature increases 1 degree Celsius. Coral bleach, sea snorts in Turkey, among others. Okay. Tropical cyclone, very severe cyclone storms have been increased by 2 per decade. Okay. In corals, they are the lungs of the ocean. Coral bleaching, coral polyps expel algae called zooxanthellae, leaving behind the white calcium skeleton. Okay. Biorock technology to restore corals in the Gulf of Kutch, chapter number 17 of the Agenda 21, International Coral Reef Initiatives. Okay, these are the way forward. So they are good initiatives because of which the corals can be revived. Okay, coral ocean monitoring and prediction system. Okay, leave these things. NGO Reef Watch India. Okay, impact on Himalayan ecosystem. It is shrinking. A river in the North Indo-Gangetic Plains, seasonal. Yes, threatening the rabi crops as well as domestic and industrial water supply. More precipitation, greater water runoff will increase flooding. What are the government efforts? National Mission on Sustaining Himalayan Ecosystem as a part of National Action Plan for Climate Change. Okay, Himalayan cryosphere about 0.75 square kilometer recede per year. Okay. Impact on weather, extreme temperature, heat waves, fewer cold days over most land area, more severe droughts, frequent wildfires. Okay, lead to sea level rise 1 centimeter per decade along with Indian coast. Okay, Bay of Bengal sea rising at 3.14 mm per year. Mangrove swamps of the southern Sundarban Delta against a global average of 2 mm. Home to about 4 million people. Okay. Salt water intrusion and land loss. El Nino year in 1998 resulted in massive mortality of corals in Lakshadweep and Andaman. Okay. Impact on biodiversity, ecosystem, species, and genetic diversity would be lost. Species level change in the range and abundance. Okay. Life cycle and behavior, genetics, evolutionary response would be impacted. Impact on water resources, frequency of drought and flood, crop failures, migration, reduced runoff, salinity increasing flood level, sea level rise, urban and industrial pollutions. Okay. Talking about its impact on human being, food security, yes, water security, energy demand, human health, almost 8.5% of the GDP would be costed. Migration is estimated to be at 27 lakh. Okay. Global report on internal displacement at 2018. Of total refugees, 61% are climate refugees and 39% are because of the violence. Okay. Global report on internal displacement. Okay. 3/4 of the district faces extreme climate weathers. 34% of the Indian coastline underwent varying degree of erosion. Okay. Okay. We already know that 34% of the Indian coastline. Okay. 3/4 district, and that 3/4 means 75%. Okay. Impact on demography, low-lying coastal areas and river deltas. Okay, will have a direct impact on demography. Direct conflict and competition between migrants and the established communities for the access of land and water. Okay, impact on human health. Severe weather could have injuries, fatalities, mental health impact. Air pollution, asthma, cardiovascular diseases, change in vector ecology, malaria, dengue, encephalitis, hantavirus, Rift Valley fever, lymph disease, chikungunya, West Nile viruses. Okay. Increasing allergens causing respiratory allergies, asthmas. Okay. Okay, leave everything. This is not very important. Threats to cities. The urban flooding, yes, water scarcity in Bangalore, Simla, heat islands, economic productivity will loss of 2.5% of the GDP, Mumbai, Bangalore, Shimla. Okay, economy is a very wide term, so you can think of a very large area sectors of economy that can have a greater impact. Uh, Impact on agriculture, especially productivity, temperature, temperate latitude, helps country increase food productivity and intensify the variability of monsoon dynamics, extreme seasonal aberrations, droughts and floods. Okay, impact on fishery and aquaculture. Climate changes in the warmer regions offer new opportunities as production in warmer region will increase because of the better growth rate, a longer growing season, and availability of new fish farming areas where it is once too cold. Okay. Okay, what are the efforts for the Paris deal? Okay, National Center for Coastal Research leave this. Paris deal, carbon market, carbon pricing, climate financing. Okay, through global environment finance. Okay, then we have C40 World Mayor Summit, energy efficiency, sustainable agriculture, National Adaptation Fund, INDC, Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, International Solar Alliance, Bond Challenge, Green Market, Coastal Regulation Zone, National Mission for Strategic Knowledge for the Climate Change, National Action Plan for Climate Change, within which we have uh, about eight missions. Okay, National Solar Mission, National Mission for Enhanced Energy Efficiency, National Mission on Sustainable Habitat, National Water Mission, National Mission on Sustaining Himalayan Ecosystem, National Mission for a Green India, National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture, and a National Mission on Strategic Knowledge on Climate Change. Okay, so that's it. Glasgow, we have Panch Pran. What is it? 0, 1, 0, 1, 45, 50 and 500. Okay, so net zero by 2070. 1 billion ton reduction in total projected carbon emission by 2030. Okay, through carbon sequestration. Okay, 45% reduction in carbon intensity of economy over 2005 level. Okay, 50% of the energy requirement from renewable by 2030. 500 gigawatts from non-fossil energy capacity. Okay, mantra of life. We have the lifestyle for environment to combat climate change, mass movement of environment conscious lifestyle. Okay, way forward, renewable first approach, decarbonize emission intensive sector, and ecosystem based approach, inclusion of local people, common but differentiated responsibility, financial and tech transfer, technological solution, aerosol spraying over stratosphere, ice cube building submarines in the Arctic region, polar salt to create clouds to increase orbit of Earth, environment, corporate social responsibility, green contracts, commercial contracts which mandate that contracting partners cut down greenhouse emissions at different stages of the delivery, sector-led development such as power sector. Okay. What is the conclusion? We have not inherited this world from our ancestors, rather borrowed from the future generation. Okay, Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, we are the first generation to feel the effects of climate change, and the last who can do something about it, Barack Obama. Okay, so you can quote this one also. Land degradation, National United Nations Convention on Combating Desertification. Land degradation is reduction of loss of biological and economic productivity resulting from land use. 30% of cultivable land is degraded in India. State of Environment Report, okay, it says that it is degradable. 20% of Earth's land are degraded. Okay, so what are the challenges? The Energy and Resource Institute theory, economic losses from land degradation and the change of land use in 2014-15 stood at 2.54% of the India's GDP. Okay, 82% of this degraded land lies just in 9 states, that is Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Jammu Kashmir, Karnataka, Jharkhand, Odisha, Madhya Pradesh and Telangana. Okay. Water erosion responsible for nearly 11% of the desertification. Vegetation degradation nearly 9%. Okay. Government efforts, Green India Mission, National Action Plan for Climate Change, Submission on Green India Mission. Okay, Sustainable Development Goal number 15. India's pledge to restore 13 million hectares of degraded deforested land by 2020, and additional this, which is almost at 28 million hectares, if I'm not wrong. This is older news. Okay. Okay, National Forest Landscape. So this is all an older news, so you not remember this anymore. Okay, air pollution. What do we have? The Clean Air Initiative, Indus Impact Project. Okay, a National Ambient Air Quality Standards, National Air Quality Index, BS6, PM, UI. Okay, Central Pollution Control Board, Air Act, Environment Protection Act 2018, PAT, Niti Aayog. Okay, decarbonized transportation, yes. RoRo service, gas-based economy, biofuel, renewable energy, FAME, among others. Okay, air shared, common areas where pollutants don't get dispersed due to geographical and meteorological reasons. Okay. Water pollution, only 4% of water. Niti Aayog Water Composition Management Index, 600 million people will live in water stress area by 2030. National Water Grid, Meghalaya first state with its own water policy, compulsory water audit, water metering, sewage treatment plant, real-time data, capping water use, water pricing. Okay, leave this. Namami Gange program, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, national policy for fecal sludge and septic management. Jal Jeevan Mission, watershed management program, Jal Jeevan Mission. Okay, outcome basis PPP, Payjal Survection, among others. Groundwater pollution, groundwater quality index, India is ranked at 120 out of 122. 22% of water is depleted, 70% contaminated. Okay, we have Central Groundwater Board, which is defunct. Few observations, traditions. The recycle capacity is at only 30%. Water Act 1974, National Water Policy 2012, Atal Bhujal Yojana, National Project for Aquifer Management, Master Plan for Artificial Recharge of Groundwater, mandatory NOC. Okay. Talking about plastic pollution, 22 kgs per capita consumption per year. Global average is of 22. And the okay, leave this. Plastic pollution. Worldwide, only 9% of the plastic is recycled. In India, 70% solid waste collected. Okay. Only 9% is recycled. Imagine that. Very high. 20% processed, 80% of total marine debris are plastic. Okay, Great Pacific Batch, microplastic, biomagnification, toxic, carcinogenic, tourism. Okay, ban single-use plastic by 2022. Single plastic waste management rules 2016. Extended producers responsibility 50 micron, which is extended to 120 microns. Mandatory jute bags in sugar and wheat packaging. Marpol, Kerala Suchitwa Mission. Okay. So these are the initiatives. Norway deposit refund system. Okay, plastic tax in Ireland, 6R among others. Biomedical waste. Central Pollution Control Board, 101 metric ton per day of COVID-related biomedicals. Okay, biomedicals. E-waste. Only about 17% of the total waste collected are recycled, whereas in the case of plastic waste, it is at 70%. Okay, 70. 95% of the e-waste which is collected, of the 17%, 95% that is collected is handled by unorganized sector, that is children's, women. Okay. Basel Convention, yes, for the e-waste. E4Y management rules. Okay. 2016. Producers Responsibility PRO. Okay. Producers Responsibility Organization. Formalize e-waste recycling sector. Okay. Right to repair standards. Okay. Industry hazard. MC Mehta versus Union of India case. The doctrine of absolute liability, strict liability was applied. Okay. So that was it. That was the environmental degradation. Now we will see the environmental conservation and sustainable development. Okay, but after 5 minutes break. Thank you, G. ओके, चलो देर आए दुरुस्त आए, जल्दी आए बहुत जल्दी आए, बहुत सही है. Okay, environment biodiversity conservation. Okay, article 48, 48A. Okay, this is for forest, this is for wildlife protection act 1971, environment protection act 1980. Okay, I beg your pardon, 1986. We have about 110 national parks, 553 wildlife sanctuaries, 86 conservation reserves, 163 common reserves. Overall, 5% of the area is protected. Environment Performance Index, we rank about 168. World Air Quality Index 179. 2.4% of the land, 8% of the global wildlife. Okay, 29% of the tiger outside protected area. 30% of the coral reef and 13% of the global wild catch fisheries. Okay. Tiger population doubled before the target. Okay, India's second biennial update report. Emission intensity of India's GDP came down by 21% between 2005 and 2014. And its achievement of climate goal by breed is on the track. Okay. Between 2014 to 2018, 4,300 hectares of forest land is diverted for coal mining. Wetland. Okay, Ramsar Convention, yes, 40% of the world's species live and breed in wetland. 40%, my friends, which is very high. 7 lakh wetlands covering 4.5% of the area. Okay, nearly 5% of the area in India is wetland. Ramsar Convention of the 1971, Wetland Conservation and Management Rules 2017. Wetland Authority prohibits conservation, conversion, dumping waste. Center for Wetland Conservation and Management. Okay, bird conservation. Okay, so this was once a news, so now no need. Okay, we have Parivash portal for single window clearance of environment. UNCBD target 30 into 30 target, protect 30% of species by 30%. CSR Reliance creating zoo in Jamnagar for leopard rehabilitation. Gujarat model of wildlife conservation for roping in locals to reduce mortalities of lion. We have Kampa fund. Okay, but what are the disadvantages? Monoculture, eviction of tribals, species loss. Present value of the forest is very high compared to the forest. Eviction and displacement, 76% are not rehabilitated, 60% in forest, 40% displaced. Cultural loss of sacred goose, minor forest produces, diminish the role of Gram Sabha and huge corruption. Okay, national capital, yes. Afforestation measure, National Afforestation Program. Nagar Van Udyog Yojana, target of 200 urban forests. Okay. नगर वन उद्यान योजना आगे बढ़े उद्योग नहीं. नेशनल मरीटाइम टर्टल एक्शन प्लान. ओके. वाइल्ड लाइफ ट्रेड, फोर्थ लार्जेस्ट इलिसिट ट्रेड. आर्टिकल 51G वाइल्ड लाइफ प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट, प्रिवेंशन ऑफ क्रुएलिटी ऑफ टू द एनिमल्स एक्ट 1960. वाइल्ड लाइफ क्राइम कंट्रोल ब्यूरो, साइट्स IUCN. ओके, among others. Similar to GST Council, you also need an environmental council. Okay. Philippines model of reforestation. Every student has to plant 10 plants before the graduation in imbibing the environmental value and conscious citizenry. Okay. Talking about man-animal conflict, only 25% of elephants are in protected area. 2.5% of the leopards in protected area show that people and animals live in harmony with India. Okay. Habitat loss, 5% only protected area. Increasing infrastructure and development, crop raiders, grazing in buffer zone, encroachment, trap for vermin animals. Okay, bureaucratic hurdles, animal tree passing out of protected area, compensation issue, farmers tree passing into protected area, ineffective vermin elimination program are the reasons of man-animal conflicts. The government efforts, Suraksha portal for human-elephant conflict, provide real-time information, protect Project Elephant, alligator, lion, dolphin, tiger, animal underpasses at Panna, core areas. Okay. Suggestions, insurance against livestock and crop damage, safeguard corridors, Madhav Gadgil committee reports, among others. Okay. Talking about sustainable development, SDG voluntary national review, 2020 report. We need additional 6% of the GDP to be invested in for this to achieve the sustainable goal by 2030. Okay, UNDP SDG investors map for India. Okay, France Green Party fight based on climate change. Okay, sustainable development, transforming a vicious cycle of exploiting human and natural capital to creating a virtuous cycle. UN came up with sustainable development goals in 2015 till 2030. Threats to sustainable development, climate change, increase in the incidence of El Nino, materialism, consumerism and capitalism. Population, almost 7.2 billion people. Okay, war in Syria, Afghanistan, need versus want, supreme power syndrome, Cold War period, blind race for economic superiority. Humans have become an invasive species in themselves. Sustainable development and ultimate panacea, yes. Green growth and green economy. Okay, ICT industries has a key role to play in enabling a low carbon society. E-health, e-governance services and smart grid for utilities. Management of natural resources, reuse, recycle, reduce. Okay, space tech, remote sensing, new age technology, big data, IoT, quality of life, human health, education, standard of living. Okay, inclusive growth, tribes will get benefited by resource extraction. Okay, financial outlay. Okay, of almost 5,000-6,000 crore rupees for Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan, aimed at helping local bodies to achieve sustainable development goals. Okay, what is the way forward? 6I for global sustainable development: inclusiveness, indigenization, innovation, investment in infrastructure and international cooperation. Okay, Panchatantra principle of sustainable development. Panchatantra principle of sustainable development. Niti Aayog, P2 public transport, public project. Okay, Panchtantra, principle of sustainable development. The first is the public project, public-private partnership, people-public-private partnership, budgetary plans. Okay, private sector participation, equity, and developmental and social strategy. Okay, green accounting standards, INDC, sustainable urban development, among others. What are the conclusions? Ease of living is on the bedrock of development and environment. Both are equally important. Bangladesh Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus, in his book The Three Zeros, has envisaged world with zero poverty, zero unemployment, and zero carbon emission. Okay. Mata Bhumi hai, putro aham prithivya. Okay, the earth is our mother and we are its sons. Okay. So that's it, my friends. We are done with the GS3 of the Indian economy. GS3, I beg your pardon, GS3 of the GPSC. And along with this, we'll have something from the Gujarat section, and which we will be doing it in the subsequent lectures. So congratulations, my friends. We are doing it at a very fast rate. We almost completed the entire syllabus. Now we will go through the Gujarat part. Okay. So thank you very much.